I'm worried about the Toronto condo market. You might have seen recently there was a headline that there was only like 53 new construction condos that sold in September. And for a city like Toronto, that's essentially nothing, right? And I saw a few, different media outlets post this story, and I thought it was interesting to see like what the comments were saying about this. And there was a lot of celebration, like this is a good thing, keep letting the prices go down. And I just think maybe there's some misinformation here about what this actually means. So first of all, this had nothing to do with the resale market, and this was data for September. This was only new construction. So if you want condo prices to keep going down, you actually want them to build more condos in the future, which will bring further supply to the market. And I'm worried about the market, not because right now. In fact, I'm really enjoying today's condo market conditions. Buyers finally have the upper hand. We're putting deals together for people that you don't have to make a decision in 10 seconds. You can really think it through. You can put lots of conditions in there. We're getting deals done at prices that I'm really, really happy with. And I work with lots of sellers as well. And sure, does it suck that some people are losing money from what they paid a few years ago? Of course it does. But that's just like the reality of what we just went through with interest rates. So it's not just the condo market that's gone down in value. It's like everything has. But there's just been so much more media coverage to the condo market. And the reason why I'm worried about the market is because, let's just go over. I obviously didn't have any notes for this video. I'm going to try to be concise with my thoughts. Let's go over why we're in the position we're in today. So why is the overall condo market slow on the resale side? And then we'll get to new construction. It's slow on the resale side because we have a lot of inventory. Well, why do we have a lot of inventory? Well, because there's less demand. Why do we have less demand? Well, because half the demand used to be investors, and almost 100% of demand on the new construction side was investors. And that's why nothing is selling over there. And on the resale side, it's like if we're comparing to that same month in September, I think we had almost 1,000 condos sell in the city of Toronto, and then another almost 500 in the 905 area code. So we're in the position today because interest rates are higher, because there's more supply, because there's not as much demand. I think it's really that simple. Now, if those are the reasons why we're in this position, let's talk about what could happen 5 years ago. And I want to be very clear too. This is not a real estate agent making a video to create FOMO saying you should buy a condo now because prices are going to be higher in 5 years. I just want let's all look at this together. We are where we are now because of all the things I just explained. If only 40-something condos sold, or 53 condos sold in September of 2025, new construction, that essentially means that nothing is going to be built in 4 years from now. Now, we know that for the rest of 2025 and 2026, we still have a healthy amount of condos that pre-sold a few years ago that are going to be delivered. Most of that still goes to the rental market because of who's buying it, because it was investor focused. But some will come to the sale market and add to the overall inventory. And we have no issues with inventory right now. We got enough inventory to go around for everybody, especially with those smaller units that don't have parking spots. There's more than enough for the buyer demand right now. That's not going to be an issue. I actually think for the next 2-3 years, I can't see any really world where condo prices go up at all in any meaningful way, just based on where we are with the inventory. But eventually, it will clear out. Eventually, if prices keep dropping a little bit and interest rates, even if they bottomed out to where they are today, it's like we're under 4% now. Eventually, you'll start seeing the investors slowly come back, because right now it's an end user market, which I've really enjoyed this end user market. It's been great for my business because we work with mostly end users. But by 2030, we essentially have 0 new condos being built in the city of Toronto. And I understand we've changed our immigration policies. All those things are true. But still, the population size of the city and the fact that we are literally not building anything else. We're not building homes. There's no land to build new homes, other than if you're knocking down current homes, but then you got to buy the lot. We're building purpose-built rentals, and the government is going to build 540 homes in Downsview Park, and a certain percentage of those are going to be rented out at lower than market rent. But that is all rental inventory. So if your goal is to own real estate You want people to pre-buy condos for the future. And so I'm just here thinking like, man, I'm worried, not right now, not next year. I'm talking 2030 and beyond. I'm worried that we're going to have zero supply and we're just going to go through the same thing we've already been through before. And you can see, like, I've talked with other people about this and everyone's agreed with me. Even the people that are like the biggest, housing doomers or bearish on the market, they recognize, like, guys, we're going to have an inventory issue in 3, 4, 5 years from now. And it's not going to look good. And the condo market could potentially boom in the 2030s and beyond if we don't do something about it now. But the problem is the way that our system works. Developers have to sell 70% of a building for them to actually put the shovel in the ground to build it. And what's happening right now is these new construction developers can't even sell out 70%, so nothing is being built. So I don't know, like, unless the system changes or the developers just start making units that are only going to end users and can get them to 70%, like building larger units. But then the problem is, like, well, if they build larger units, it's going to cost more money, and buying resale is probably still better value versus that. So that's my concern. I still think the condo market, I like where it's at right now in terms of like things that are happening. I think this is a good market, but we just came off of such an extreme. And now we're kind of on the other side of the extremes, like the most amount of inventory we've ever had before, in terms of what's sitting on the market, the active listings that are there. This is unusual territory, right? But I don't want to go from extreme seller's market to extreme buyer's market back to extreme seller's market. It would be nice if we kind of could find that middle ground, but we went from the most amount of condo deliveries we've ever seen that happened in 2025. And that's because these sold 3-4 years before this. And then we're going to go to basically nothing. So that's why I'm a little bit concerned about the future of the condo market. I also really believe, because of this YouTube channel, I have conversations with people all the time that are like, should I sell my condo? My question is like, well, what are you going to do with the money? Well, what are you going to do with it? Where else are you going to invest it, right? And I'm not going to pretend I'm a stock market guy. I stay in my lane in real estate. So I give advice on what I can understand and what I actually know. And most people, my advice is like, just hold it long term. I think eventually you'll be really happy with your purchase, but we're going through a bit of a tough time right now, and I don't think it's magically going to change. So I just want to know your opinion. If you watch my videos, maybe you've seen other people talking about this, what's going to happen here? Because we got enough inventory now, but eventually that inventory gets cleared up, either because they drop the price and they sell, or they're priced correctly and they sell, or people take them off the market. And then eventually the inventory will be lower and we'll be back into balanced market territory. And then nothing new is built. And that's where we're going to have an issue 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years from now. Thanks for watching. My name is Tom Storey. I really want to know your opinion on this one. Let me know below. And remember, home is where your story begins.